Thanks a lot, Diana. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening from where you're from. Today starts Career Session Day 1. This is a 3-day session that we host weekly. So the follow-up sessions will be in the upcoming weeks. The inspiration and idea behind these career sessions is that we see a lot of trend in AI adoption in different industry verticals these days. So be it, even if you're not an RPA professional, if you're in an industry like healthcare, manufacturing, be it any disciplines, you'd see an industrial shift to artificial intelligence. So as a community, we here are open to help you if you're an RPA or even if you're any other professional, how you could navigate into the intelligent automation space and have RPA and AI within your technology belt. So before I move into the session, I want to give a quick shout out to the UiPath community. If you haven't joined our community yet, we are a global community that can be faced as a community. We have chapters in different geological locations. You can join forums and mentorship sessions. So if any one of you are curious to know further, hit us up on the chat, and our community manager and leadership will be able to help you navigate how to approach our community and join to learn the newest technologies that UiPath and AI offers. Awesome. So I want to highlight today's organizers and team. We have a very special guest with us today, Lahiru Fernando. Thank you so much for joining our call and our first career talk session. A little bit of a highlight about Lahiru is that Lahiru is a 4-time UiPath MVP. He is also the UiPath AI ambassador to Asia Pacific. He is the country director and practice head for document understanding and artificial intelligence at Boundaryless. And he's also an author who has recently published his first book, if I'm telling correctly, on intelligent automation. So Lahiru is the best person to talk about career talk in terms of transitioning from an RPA to AI, because he himself has championed through his career as an RPA professional and now is an AI professional. So Lahiru will be giving us a keynote about how his career progressed. And hopefully, if you guys have a question, again, feel free to reach out via chat for Lahiru to answer your questions. And then I'll introduce Diana Gray, who's our community manager to Americas. Diana, thank you for hosting our events today and our follow-up events. And next up is me. I'm Sharon Palwandram. I'm a senior machine learning consultant at Ashling Partners. I'm also an AI ambassador to Americas and UiPath MVP. So a little highlight about our next sessions is that we have session 2 and session 3 coming up over the next weeks. Session 2 will be unlocking career opportunities in intelligent automation. We have UiPath MVP Hannah Wynn speaking on that. And next up, we have skill development and continuous learning in the era of generative AI. So the idea will be to dive deeper into how you can really master your skill and have that momentum of continuous learning when we adapt generative AI, LLMs, and other disciplines of artificial intelligence. Awesome. So what is today's session about? So I know you guys already know that our session is called Transitioning from RPA to AI Professionals. But we are not going to talk too much in theory about AI because our goal is to identify what bottlenecks or what identifiers that you would have to transition yourself career-wise. That's why we as a community are here for you, so we can help you champion through whatever obstacles that you may have. right? And this is, of course, a unique opportunity if you're in the RPA space, because RPA and I feel like they go hand in hand. Because if you work in document understanding or communications mining and you need to extract documents, which is a very highly used situation in industries, that's something where artificial intelligence comes to play massively. So you can think about intelligent automation and artificial intelligence as a power couple that work together, and you can use the best of both worlds. So I'd like to hear a little bit about our audience today. So if you have your phone, or you can go to menti.com and use this code, you can scan this and answer these questions. We just want to hear from you. What is your current position, and where, if you are doing a technical role, a non-technical role, and yeah, this would really help us truly understand our audience and just help you guys in, just understanding the content better. Thanks a lot for the feedback. I'll give this a couple of minutes before I go into our session. Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot for the feedback that we are getting. I see here that a lot of you, most of you, are RPA developers and non-technical professionals, and even technical professionals who are non-AI. So I think this session would greatly help you. And this is our target audience, just to talk about how the transitioning process would work. All right. Thank you so much, guys, once again for your feedback. So let's get started. So I know you guys have seen AI all over the place, because I have. Whenever I open LinkedIn, or whenever I go into read into, like, industry articles, the first thing that comes up is AI. And this is a very obvious statement, because AI is seen to be adapted everywhere. So if you're thinking about joining AI, or even learning how to, get into artificial intelligence, I would say this is a great time for you to join, since the culture and the markets are shifting into a more AI centered industry. So this, what you're seeing in front, is actually from UiPath's Forward 6 event last year, which they had in October. So the idea is that, artificial intelligence, the adoption at least of artificial intelligence, is surpassing what we historically saw. So there was another article where, they compared AI adoption into phone and tablet adoption, and it was a massive, differentiator, where AI was adapted much faster than other technologies like phones, cell phones, computer, internet. So it's pretty obvious that the world has been waiting for AI to help better understand, industries and professional growth. So it's safe to say that we are in the era of artificial intelligence. Here are some other facts that we've scoped out from Forward. So the size of the AI global market is going to reach $200 billion by 2026, according to Forbes. And 85% of enterprises will combine human expertise like AI, NLP, IDC. I believe even today, compared to 2023, which they call the year of generative AI, comparing 2023 to 2024, we've seen a rapid shift on AI adoption. So this is obviously, the trend is upward, and we can see that the productivity is going to grow. People are going to incorporate artificial intelligence into their day-to-day lives, just to make life easier with, AI capabilities. Awesome. So next up, I'm going to hand the floor over to Lahiru. to share his journey on, how he transitioned from an RPA to AI professional. Lahiru, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. And good morning, good evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much for inviting me, Sharon. Um, yeah, so just to get started about my journey, several years back, uh, I was also coming from technical but non AI side. I started my RPA journey in 2019 in January. The first thing I realized when I started my RPA journey is it's very fast paced and things are changing quite frequently. So the biggest challenge I had was me as a learner at the time to come up to the speed, understand all the capabilities that RPA can offer, what are the different tools, what we can do with these things, and what kind of solutions we can provide to different people. So these were the main things at the time. So it was very fast paced, and we had to do quite a lot of things to come up to that speed and keep up with the all the new trends and new features that are coming up. But that went on for almost I think 1.5 years for me. But in 2020, what I realized is that RPA, that all that fast-paced environments and everything, and from basic RPA stuff, I kind of got into several discussions where people want to work on AI along with RPA. So there were kind of discussions where I was involved in where, hey, I have these RPA processes. Can I try to introduce some kind of AI into this? So these were like some basic AI stuff like the text classification and sentiment analysis, these kind of little things. So we had discussions, some tried to do it, and some said, okay, let's do it, but that didn't happen. So it was like that at the time. But while going through this, then I came across the UiPath document understanding. So my first experience with document understanding was in 2019 itself. Um, one of the very first, I got the opportunity to be one of the very first users to use the document understanding at the time. So that was my first entry towards AI related stuff in automation. So that's the start. Since then, I have been researching on document understanding, what we can do, how AI can help on these things. But that kept on going, and these discussions that I was involved in kept on increasing. And then came, this was the biggest change. Then came the developer conference in 2020, UiPath Developer Conference, where I presented about the document understanding along with Iona, one of their product managers. So that was a big session on DU, especially. But after that session, I experienced something totally different. After that session, so many people reached out saying, I want to implement document understanding. I have these kind of documents like invoices, purchase orders. I have these things that I want to do. So let's try doing some AI. So that was the first real implementation time for me. So we actually worked on several projects on document understanding, and some were straightforward, some were quite complicated, and we had some very good experience with DU. And along with that, once people started realizing the capabilities, because DU is also part of AI, it's not a totally separate thing, as Sharon mentioned. Um, so once people started realizing the benefit that it can give, then these conversations kept on increasing. Like, okay, so we have these AI capabilities. Can we do something different? And then comes processing of all the other different kind of data, like emails and so on. So that's where this communications mining can play a role. So this was going on. So we were in so many AI related initiatives. We have been doing quite a lot of work over there. But then, along with this generative AI, that actually changed a lot of things. So back in the days, it was mostly about automating these normal documents like invoices, purchase orders, which are semi-structured and even structured. But since this open AI, or we can say generative AI, came up with this new offering in AI, now the conversation entirely changed. So then in every single day, that's the same situation is in our company as well. Every single day, everybody was saying, I want to do AI. Okay, what do you want to do with AI? What are you trying to resolve? They don't have a clear idea, but still they want to do AI. This is the same with people. This is the same with companies that we were interacting with. So we were in those kind of situations where we were trying to explore. Okay, so you want to do AI. Okay, so let's sit down and look at what your processes, what are your pain points. Let's see where we can apply AI. So along with that, it was now the situation is, so back then it was the simple AI solutions that people wanted, but right now it's something different. Now they want to do more complicated things, even with documents. So back then it was the semi-structured stuff. But now I remember last year we had a couple of initiatives where even for documents, they come up with complicated documents, like totally unstructured documents saying, hey, I have these kind of documents and we have all these AI capabilities. Can we use generative AI to process these documents? Can we classify these documents? Can we extract this complex information? I'll tell you one use case as well. There was one guy who reached out um, saying they were processing some legal documents, and there was a guy or a couple of people sitting and just reading through these legal documents, trying to understand what that is and extracting certain information from these legal documents. And you know how legal documents are. So they want to fully automate it using generative AI. And these documents are so complicated, it has so many things. Um, so we started with some POCs, we delivered some solutions, they were happy, and they are keeping on expanding these capabilities. That was one. Another use case. Now this is a different one. Here they say that, okay, I have such a big database. I have SQL related stuff. I have documents. I have so much of unstructured content here. I want to create a nice system where people can just query and get the data out of this. I don't want people to sit down and go through all of this stuff to find what they need. Using generative AI or whatever the AI capability that we have, can we do that? So that opens up a different area. So it's not just about document understanding, but now it's using these documents and everything as a database for these AI models to extract information and communicate with the users, just like a normal user on the other side, and give them that personalized experience. So these were some recent discussions where I was involved in since last year. So that's where I realized, okay, so now we know document understanding, we know communications mining, but to come up with these kind of solutions, now these are more complicated stuff. We need to improve ourselves as well. So being RPA developer, which is fine. I started as RPA developer, then moved into a solution architect. But when these kind of requirements come in, just being in the RPA domain doesn't work. we need to expand our skills as well to understand what these AI capabilities or AI technologies out there that can offer and how we can use them to provide solutions along with RPA and UFR. So then that's where I actually started exploring more on AI other than what we know. So when we try to expand on these things, there are so many platforms and tools available today, even different languages like Python. So it was again one of those challenges, like at the beginning. And we kind of had similar discussions in our company as well, because um, I lead the AI and DU practice for the company. So even from our management, the one of the main requirement was we need to be prepared for AI, and things are going to change. Things are going to change. We are going to change how we even develop our solutions, because today we may be RPA developers, but let's say from another year or two, depending on how these AI models evolve, especially generative AI, it can also generate code, right? It can also create solutions. So what happens then? So what is our role going to be when that happens? So these are some discussions where we were involved in, and that's where we realized, okay, it's good that we know the development stuff, but what is the next level for us? If we are going to use AI for all of these things, we should also do something. It's not that we are going to lose our job, that's not the idea, but if AI can do it, we can also be more creative. We can be the people who can create these AI solutions, and we can be the people who review these things and how to optimize these things. So that's kind of a area that is open, and that is currently happening as we speak. Um, the models might not be that strong at the moment, but that will happen at some point. So that's where we are heading. And I think maybe Sharon can also add some points to this. You're also in this machine learning side. Um, so that's the path that we are involved in as a part of my journey. Um, Being in that area, that gives me a lot of opportunity to explore more. And right now, being in RPA and now along with all these opportunities, slowly moving into this AI professional. And right now, with all these things, I do more AI stuff compared to what I did before with RPA. So it's now about AI trying to integrate with the RPA solutions we already have in built in UiPath. It's the same for most of the people that we work with. And even a couple of days back, there was another guy who told me, hey, we have UiPath solutions created on these things, but we need to expand this and get more complicated stuff done. And again, referring to AI. So that's where we are heading. Pretty much all the discussions that we are in at the moment, this is at least my experience. It's RPA plus AI. This combination is always there. Or if someone, even for the companies who wants to get started, they first start with RPA, but their long-term vision is at some point I will implement AI along with this. So that's the kind of trend that I see. Yeah. So those are some points. Maybe Sharon can you can also add a few things. Let's make it discussion based.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was trying to find where my video was. Lahiru, you mentioned everything that's happening that I see in my industry as well, because I'm in consultancy, and something that you told was very remarkable is that organizations want to implement AI, but they don't know what they want. They know that they want AI, but they don't know what they want exactly. Because 1 year ago, around this time in January or February, that's where ChatGPT was widely acknowledged. So the Denver community, what we did was we did a session called Introduction to ChatGPT and how it gets integrated with UiPath. So that was, we had maybe 300 RSVPs and attendees for the session because it was so new and everybody was very curious to know how is ChatGPT getting adapted with RPA. But in that session, there was a common misconception that where they didn't know the fundamentals of ChatGPT, because ChatGPT was misunderstood as AI, as open AI. So many keywords for everybody. It would be tough to understand. But I have to be honest with you guys, when open AI came in, it was very ambiguous to just understand the underlying, offerings. What is it? Is it a generative AI, LLM? What is generative AI? What is LLM? So I think slowly throughout the last year, we all have been getting adapted to those buzzwords just to really understand what truly they are. But another thing to note is, as a professional, even if you're in the RPA space, it's imperative for you to distinguish these AI capabilities as a capability offering and just to understand, because many still don't know the distinguishment of what exactly, AI does, or what, if you think about open AI, what they do. And they have a lot of things that they offer, but ChatGPT is very user faced, so many people are familiar with that. But when you integrate them and when you dive deeper into, automations, building, developing, that's when, you need to know about what the capabilities are and what the limitations are. And we are going to talk a little bit about the limitations and the governance and security of AI in a little bit. But those are good things for you to know and identify and acknowledge that just because AI is there today, it's not perfect, just like Lahiru said. There still needs to be so many things to, develop, and that will surely happen over time. But as professionals, we need to understand the limitations, so that we can communicate that effectively to, who we are delivering it to, or if we are working with a client basis, to our clients. So Lahiru, thank you so much for sharing your journey. I find it very inspirational because you have faced challenges even before AI was widely known. I remember about 2 years ago, you did a huge natural languaging process for, extracting documents with UiPath. So I have a couple of questions taking in mind our audience today. So our audience is RPA developers, non-technical folks who are working in RPA or who are not working in RPA, and we have AI professionals too. So thinking about RPA developers, what advice would you give for them as their next step if they truly want to dive into artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned before, we all start with RPA, but since we all are moving towards this AI, I think the next best step would be start learning, and make yourself much more comfortable, make yourself much more familiar with the RPA stuff as well, but also spend some time learning the different AI capabilities that are out there. So don't, when you say AI, it's not like very complicated stuff. So don't get into all that, but at least start reading what are the different AI of capabilities we have that we can use out of the box. So if you even look at the AI center in UiPath, most of us are familiar with UiPath, right? So if you're Using the UI platform, if you go into AI Center, you can see the different AI capabilities we have, like sentiment analysis, object detection, and these kind of things, other than the document understanding stuff. So what does these do? What is, when you say object detection, what is it? What can you do with object detection? Then when it comes to sentiment analysis, what is sentiment analysis? What kind of infos you need? Where can we apply these kind of solutions? And what will be the benefit if someone implements sentiment analysis? What can he gain from that? So I think these are the areas we need to look into and understand the capabilities, because when you get into these kind of discussions, um, people might not directly tell you that this is what they need, just like Sharon also mentioned, because they might also not know. They may say that, okay, I have these kind of things that I need to do, but how to do it? I'll tell you another example. I'd like to go through this example because then it's easier to understand. Again, a few months back, there was another discussion where it was related to some inventory stuff. And there was a guy who said in his warehouse, he has these different uh, goods, and he wants to keep a track of that, what is being sold out and what is being uh, delivered back to these warehouses, and that's being done through images. So just by looking at the image, he wants to know what that is. So when we say that, if you are familiar with object detection, okay, you can easily relate. Okay, this guy is talking about object detection, and this is kind of a solution that he may need. And again, on the other side, again with one of the insurance companies that I had a chat with, they do this claim processing. They want to automate that process. And it's a very interesting scenario where they you do the RPA thing. So they have the claim processing, document understanding, they have all that. And now they want to add an extra step for vehicles when they capture the damage. They want to do the estimate and understand what parts of the vehicle is damaged and how much is going to be the estimate. And instead of someone doing that manually, trying to figure out what is the vehicle, what is this part and everything, they want to automate it. And they actually did a POC, and I was looking at that. It's not us who did it, but they showed it to us. So it was very impressive. So they had a trained model. When you send the document, the image, it detects what kind of vehicle that is, what is the damaged part, and how extensive is the damage, and that gives the estimate. Fully automatic. And that's being run in production at the time. So these are the things people look at. So when you get into these discussions, there will be so many things that they tell about all these things. So if you're familiar with these terms and if you're familiar with what these things can do, you don't need to create all this stuff from scratch. It's already out there. And even with UiPath, you can easily use the existing stuff. So the main thing is understand what these things can do and how you can utilize this to address different requirements. I think that's where you all need to get started.
Thanks a lot for your reply, right? I think that was very insightful. I want to ask you one more question before we continue with our session today. Excuse me. I want to think about the non-technical audience here. So we have some folks that are joined who don't work with RPA and work with RPA, but are not technical. Think of, business analysts, product managers, anyone who doesn't do development. What would be your advice into going into artificial intelligence? And I want to add like another point into this question too. If somebody is not like they still haven't gone into RPA, should they venture into RPA or should they venture into AI? Or should they like use a combination? And what is your perspective on the benefits of, going into a hybrid like approach?
Yeah, I can relate to a conversation that actually happened a couple of days ago. There was a guy who called me, and we were just having a general discussion. He was a friend of mine, and he asked, like, he's seeing this trend where people wants to do automation and people talk about AI, and he's from a non-technical background, from finance actually. So he was asking, should I also try to explore, like if someone comes and do automation in my company, what I'm doing, what happens to me? That's the kind of question he had. So yes, I think it will be a mixture of both, as I see. I think even if you're coming from a non-technical background, with RPA, we have platforms you can use, like for citizen developers. We have, even with UiPath, you have it. Like you can kind of learn how to automate simple things that you do yourself. And I think learning that is good. You don't need to get into all this hardcore programming and learning all those stuff. Um, but at least understand what RPA is and how you can easily use those citizen developer platforms to get little things done. And that may also help in your day-to-day activities at your workplace as well. Um, Also, same applies for AI. And if you're a business analyst, um, if you're analyzing processes, how you can optimize these processes, and I'm not relating to RPA, but if you are generally trying to come up with process optimization related things, then RPA might be a fit there to optimize your processes. And who knows, maybe AI is also a part of that. So if you know, again, you don't need to get into so much of technical things in AI because for that you have all the techie guys. So, you coming from different background, just try to understand what these AI capabilities can do. When you say generative AI, what can I do with generative AI? And that is like, let's say OpenAI, their chat GPT is anybody can use it. You can use it to improve what you do. Like, let's say you're into data analytics stuff. Maybe you don't need to do all that analytics by yourself. Maybe you can use some of these capabilities to generate this and do the analysis little bit of automated, and it is out to your life as well. And today what I say is, um, I see even students, if they are using this chat GPT to do research. And that doesn't mean that they need to use chat GPT from start to end. That is not the idea, but use it. It makes your life easier, and you can find ways to do things better. Likewise. So, and recently I came across a couple of plugins where you can use GPT along with internet, and it is also there in your phone as well nowadays. So it's a simple app. So people use these things to easily browse, do research, come up with their content, and do so many things. So you can also, depending on the field that you are, you can also try using this and see how you can improve the way you do things. And that doesn't mean you need to get into all the technical stuff, but you can easily use these tools.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Lahiru, for giving us your feedback. I know this is very impressive, your experience, and I hope our audience definitely found this insightful today. So next up, I want to talk a little bit about AI with RPA. And I know we have a question in the chat saying, is it possible for AI to completely replace RPA? So I think that question, we are talking about that too in this slide. So I want to talk about the UiPath solutions that are existing within the UiPath umbrella right now. So if you think about AI powered automations, you'll see that UiPath has so many offerings like document understanding, clipboard AI. communications mining, AI centered, which are more AI centric solutioning, as well as process mining, task mining, studio activities, and the regular RE framework processes that RPA developers develop on a day-to-day basis. So you'd also see that there is this terminology called generative AI and specialized AI. So what's the differentiator between generative AI and specialized AI? So generative AI is a form of a large language model where we generate intuitive texts based on whatever data set or large language model that we provide. So there are so many large language models out there. OpenAI uses their data set. Microsoft has their own one. So different hyperscalers have different offerings, but then the generative AI algorithm will be the same based on a large language model. However, specialized AI combines generative AI and other large language model algorithms to derive complete end-to-end solutioning, like document understanding, AI center, communications mining, and clipboard AI. So those capabilities fall under specialized AI. That's a UiPath definition. So if you're working with UiPath, it's important to know the distinguishment between what generative AI is and what specialized AI is. Now, to answer your question, is it possible for AI to completely replace RPA? My personal answer would be not in the near term, because intelligent automation would still be needed to complete, end-to-end solutioning if you need to incorporate that for an automation. So if you're automating an end-to-end process, there will still be non-AI elements where you need to work on and where AI does not have the technologies to support. So RPA and AI will be a combination for the foreseeable future. So I don't think it'll replace RPA at all in the near future. Lahiru, let me know if you have any input that you want to add to this question, and if not, I can move on.
I think you covered the main point, Sharon. Well done.
Awesome, thank you. So next, let's quickly go ahead with the limitations in AI. So I screenshotted something that David Barber said. He's the director of artificial AI, and he's a distinguished data scientist at UiPath. So he's one of the pioneers behind UiPath's, specialized AI technologies. So what he says is LLMs are like the human brain. They are so good at cognitive tasks, but again, they are built like the human brain. So there is room for error. So that is something that we need to think about, is that the dependency on large language models and artificial intelligence as a professional. How dependent are you going to be on a model? How successful are you going to be in the model? And the reality of model performance. I think this needs to be self-aware with you first, because you will be looked at as a subject matter expert if you're working on projects. And these ethical and technology limitations need to be identified before you seek solutions and provide solutions. So another forward screenshot is that what the challenges are and what the solutions we can offer from a UiPath capability standpoint. So one of the challenges are the information security risk, right? When you think about OpenAI, it's an open source large language model. So it's not the best case for you if you're going to use it within an organization. You don't want your data going outside. You want your data within a trust layer, within your own ecosystem and reside. You need data retention policies. So you need to think about those considerations when you are developing a large language model or AI solution. And the lack of specialized knowledge. Now, if we think specifically of generic open AI solutions, it's a very broad large language model that we base on. So what we could do is, there are other, now at least there are other solutions that offer LLMs that can be customized to your existing data set. So those could be challenges because they need to be manually trained and enabled. You just can't use them out of the box. And the other thing is hallucination. You'd see if you're using any kind of chatbot, there is of course a limitation where you can hallucinate. It may not give you the right answers, and that would leave room for error and opportunity for fine tuning. But again, you need to think about fine tuning as it's not the end goal. It may never be perfect, but you can improve your model into a certain point, but there will still be room for error, room for hallucinations. So, how does UiPath's specialized AI capabilities offer solutions? So UiPath offers centralized governance and control, meaning they have a trust layer to govern and control specifically the data and the model and the entire ecosystem within the UiPath ecosystem and maybe the partner um, infrastructure that they work on. And the next thing is fine tuning and active learning. Now, fine tuning, I just spoke about a little while ago, where you can improve your model performance based on, the results that it come. You can do the continuous learning methodology and active learning. Active learning, if you are an insider in UiPath, you must have seen active learning in document understanding, where active learning uses generative AI to build the document understanding model. Again, it uses the fine-tuning loop and algorithm to make that derivative of making your document understanding model. So active learning would be another solution if you're using generative AI for you to, retrain your model more effectively than you previously did by training and labeling. And next is human in the loop. Now, this is essential. This is a good to have situation, even if you're thinking about a production use case. You have human in the loop, and you can validate before something goes into a third-party resource. So if you have a machine learning model where you have developed, you have fine-tuned, you have done everything within your developer limitations, but still there is that margin of error and that room for error. So that's where human in the loop can come into play, where you can manually validate it and retrain it or fine-tune the model according to your use case. So a little bit about trustworthy and responsive AI. So UiPath's trust layer that has the AI governance and the trustworthy generative AI. But if you are developing a generative AI model from scratch, it is imperative to understand the responsible AI capabilities and characteristics before you do anything else. Because when you use data and when you use your personal data, there would be different ethical considerations that you need to make. So this is something for the developer to keep in mind of, the trustworthiness and the responsible AI and the UiPath's trust layer before you develop any generative AI or large language model. Slip of the tongue there, since I've been talking about generative so many times. So next up, let's talk about seizing opportunities in AI. Now, I know these questions were asked by Lahiru, but I just want to add color to these questions as well. So if you are somebody who's an RPA developer or non-technical role, it's a great time to dive in and use your skill set to learn more about artificial intelligence. We are in the beginning of the year, we are in January. So if you have, less workload, if you have more time to focus on this, think about these questions for yourself. Just think about, first, I would say, think about what you are passionate about and why you want to move into AI. Another thing that I see a lot of people do is riding the wave. Whenever there's something new, everybody wants to be known in it. We all want to know, right? We don't want to miss the boat. I feel like that is something very human, just to be curious and to know that. But if you are in a non-technical role or in an RPA role, what we are trying to omit is the feeling of being overwhelmed or the feeling of being lost. So, as a fundamental principle, try to understand why you want to move into AI and what you're really passionate about. And next, you need to ask if you have the right skill set and how you're going to champion through this. Now, if you have like a simple Google, you just say, hey, what are the RP skills or what are the AI skills I need? It's going to give you a huge list of, what you need and what you need to get certified. You need to get professional certifications. You need to do training. So let's go a little bit about that too, just to identify and summarize it from our point of view, what would really help you champion through the skill sets and just see how you have explored online courses in AI or certifications. UiPath Academy also gives fabulous courses on AI. They have a specialized AI course that they recently offered, which I think is a very, very good industry standard certification that you can explore to take. And the next thing is, who can I reach for support and mentorship? I want to highlight again, this is why the UiPath community is there for. If you need support, if you need mentorship, if you need networking, you can always reach out to us in the community. So this is something that I want you to be very open about, because in 2024, I think with everything that's going on, it's very important for you to have that support and network if you want to, dive in more and get more updates on the latest and greatest in RPA and AI. So lastly, I want you to take this, if possible, if you have started any courses in AI. So if you can scan this, I again, as a community, we just want to know, have you started it? If not, have you not? Um, or else how we can help in situations like this. Awesome. I see the feedbacks coming in. Thanks a lot, guys, for jumping in and scanning the QR codes and giving us feedback. This, as a community for us, this is really important because we get to know if we are actually talking something that's important to you or we are just going off the rails. So we want to be in track and identify what really our audience would like. So yeah, thank you again for the feedback. I see a lot of you have not yet started, but you guys are planning to. Some of you have started, but not completed yet. That's great. And you have completed one or more certifications. Well done. So let me go into the majority here and just let you know, if you're planning to start getting certified, what actually you can get certified in. So specialized AI professional certification. I want to prioritize UiPath specialized AI professional certification first. So this is a certification where if you have RPA expertise, but you don't have AI, you can still start this certification because it goes in different tandems. It talks about what specialized AI is, what are the offerings, and then it dives deeper into document understanding and communications mining. So if you have experience with document understanding and communication mining, you can dive deeper. Or else, if you want to know artificial intelligence and what UiPath stands on artificial intelligence and their offering is, specialized AI is a good place for you to start because it gives you a comprehensive, knowledge of how AI is implemented in UiPath. And essentially, these are, what they require, but you don't really have to have all of it. I would recommend, even if you are an RPA developer, try specialized AI training. It's very good. And if you find the document understanding and communications mining portion challenging, you can leave it and come back at a later time. But the first part where they talk about specialized AI and artificial intelligence would be really helpful. Another course that I would highly recommend is the machine learning specialization by Andrew Yang at Stanford University. Now, it's a free course on Coursera. This is a course I did back in 2020 in lockdown. And I think this has been the best specialization that I've ever taken because it teaches machine learning for somebody who does not know machine learning at all. So if you don't know ML, you haven't worked with algorithms, no mathematical background, maybe a little bit of mathematical background, this would be really helpful for you to truly understand the foundational level of machine learning. And you can also try AI for everybody. So this is something for non-technical folks if you want to know what AI is, how it implicates in business scenarios. AI for everyone, again, a free course is it's a really good one. And the third one is the Specialized AI Automation Developer by UiPath. Awesome. So this ends our session for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining our call. I would like to, I know we are at time here. I'm going to use the next maybe 2 to 3 minutes to go ahead with questions. Lahiru, if you're open to it, I would like to run these questions through you as well, just to get your opinion of it. So the first question is, does UiPath GenAI unstructured document use UiPath's specific LLM or ChatGPT expertise engine for extraction and reasoning on the document? I think this question asks the underlying structure of GenAI document extraction. Correct me if I'm wrong, but UiPath's generative AI underlying structure is not just one large language model. It's a combination of large language models, algorithms, neural networks. So it's not like I cannot say, yes, it's a GenAI base. It consists within a lot of algorithms for the UiPath, at least the UiPath active learning or generative AI offering. Lahiru, what do you think? Do you have any different feedback for that?
Yeah, I think you're correct because this was a question for the product team as well at some time back. I have seen this conversation since the day this was launched because a lot of people were curious, like, what is the model behind it? So I think there were a couple of activities at some point, and some of those were connecting with OpenAI through API calls, but the document data extraction one, I think UiPath has their own LLM that they keep on training, um, which we can use to do the extraction.
Thanks a lot, Lahiru, for that feedback. Before I dive into the other questions, I want to ask our audience if you'd be open to take an anonymous survey about the Denver chapter. So the reason why we are doing this is we want to know if we are covering sessions that you are actually interested in. And on the sessions that we cover, are we doing the right content for you that's valuable for you? If it's not, please, you can leave some feedback for us so we can take this into account and we can improve and make our next sessions better. So this would be a help that you would do for our community. So thank you. If you have the time, please do so. Cool. Let me go into the next question on the chat that I have here. Daniela, thank you for your question. RPA is very rule-based decision-making tool. But what if we would like to start implementing decision based on analysis? Let's say for cash prediction, income prediction, etc. Is there a way UiPath can mimic tools like Data Robot, for example, in more straightforward way than black box integration? Lahiru, would you like to answer this question or would you like me to answer this?
You can go ahead.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So I would say let's think about cash prediction, income prediction, predictive analytics, right? So UiPath has, it's not rule based anymore. With specialized AI, they take a more hybrid approach. So you can use RPA for your end-to-end intelligent automation, and you can use machine learning for your predictive modeling. So UiPath ecosystem has a couple of out-of-the-box machine learning solutions that's very, document capturing, NLP, entity recognition, name entity recognition. They also have third-party machine learning models by, Facebook, Google, sentiment analytics, stuff like that. You can also use your own machine learning model. There's a way where you can custom upload your machine learning model. So if you think about analytics, I'm not too sure if that is a out of the box model, but you can still integrate analytics into your RPA workflow. That way it becomes a end-to-end solution. So it's no longer like black box or, rule-based. With hybrid approach, you can use, rule-based plus machine learning to get your predictive analytics automation. Okay, we've got a couple of questions. Great questions, by the way. Is AI use limited to working with document understanding and chatbots? What are other possible areas where RPA and AI can be used? I think this answers the question again when we talk about specialized AI, right? Because it's no longer RPA and chatbot because we use it in communication mining to use artificial intelligence to understand communication mining data. So if you have a lot of emails or threads where you need to understand sentiments or identify like intents entities, you still use AI in situations like that. And even UiPath apps is, now you have a grasp of artificial intelligence into it. So, next question, how do we get trial access to AI solutions to create proof of concept automations? So, I believe if you have a enterprise trial, that would give you Action Center. Lahiru, would you know how we could use AI Center with a trial version? Is it enterprise trial, right?
Yes, it's the enterprise trial, and you have access to that once you activate it for 60 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Next question is, will proof of concept related to AI and UiPath Academy specialized AI certificate add weight to our chances to shift to AI? I think so, because specialized AI is a certificate both Lahiru and I took. And Lahiru, you can give your feedback to this question as well. We spoke, when I took the certification, I thought it's going to be UiPath's document understanding and communications mining. But then we found out that specialized AI actually talks about, AI as a general concept. What are the algorithms? What's reinforcement learning? What are the machine learning algorithms? So I think at a high level, it's good for you to take to understand what AI is, but then it deep dives into UiPath's document understanding, communications mining offerings. Cool. So next question. For me, it doesn't get clear which AI features and capabilities are available to test in the community edition license, which are only for enterprise license use. Is there a sort of like a checklist to see this more clearly? Yes, there is a checklist, Cesar. Thank you for joining our sessions. I know you've joined a lot of our Denver community sessions. So what I can do is I will reach out to you and I'll give you a roadmap on what's available in the community edition and what's available in the enterprise edition. Awesome. All right, last question to take is I have more I have 6-month RPA UiPath experience. Can I start this? If you have 6 months of RPA experience, I would suggest first taking AI for everybody and then go from there to machine learning specialization by the Stanford University and try in parallel the UiPath specialized AI course. So that would really help you because what I'm thinking is if you have 6 months RPA experience, that's great. But this doesn't give you experience in AI, document understanding, or process mining. So it's best for you to understand what AI is from a fundamental standpoint before you move in to the specialized AI uses. All right, one more question. I know we are at time here, so I'll keep this as the last question. When we are creating ML models in AI Center, where can we monitor our AI unit consumption related to pipelines or models use? This is a great question. So if you use Orchestrator, the latest Orchestrator version, I believe it's 23.10. So when you create a pipeline, it's going to tell you how many AI units it's consuming within an hour. Now, if you create a pipeline, you know there is going to be GPU, you can enable GPU, and you cannot enable GPU. So when it also gives you a GPU, when you use GPU, how many AI units is going to get consumed. And if you don't consume how many AI units, it's going to consume per hour. So once the pipeline finishes, it's going to tell you how long it took for the pipeline to execute. So if it's 3 hours and it costed maybe 5 AI units per hour, you will know that that pipeline consumed 15 AI units. So that's from a developer standpoint. That's how I use AI units. I just see how AI units are being consumed in model development. Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much once again for joining our session today. And Lahiru, thank you. I know this is very late for you in Sri Lanka. Thank you for joining and giving your insights for us. So I hope to see all of you in our continued sessions over the next 2 weeks. Please feel free to add these feedbacks so we can actually take it into account and we will improve our session 2 and 3. So thank you, everybody, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Sharon and Lahiru. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Have a good one.
Thank you.